What if I told you that most people don't stay broke because they earn too little, but because they spend money the wrong way? There's one simple budgeting strategy that has helped millions take control of their finances: the 50-30-20 rule. In the next few minutes, you'll learn how this method works, why it's so effective, and how you can start using it today to build a stronger financial future.
Okay, let's dive right into this. We're looking at 4 critical phases of construction today. First, drafting the plans with the 50-30-20 budget. Second, pouring the concrete with an emergency fund. Third, managing structural leverage. That's your good debt versus bad debt. And finally, avoiding the lifestyle inflation trap.
All right, starting with Phase 1, the 50-30-20 budget blueprint. This is all about drafting your architectural plans. So, I know people hear the word budget and immediately think of restrictions, like a strict set of rules just holding them back. But in reality, it's literally just your foundational blueprint. Without it, no serious building can actually begin. This brilliantly illustrates what we call the golden ratio. Once your taxes are withheld from your paycheck, this 50-30-20 split directs exactly where your capital should flow. You absolutely do not need some complex, crazy detailed spreadsheet here. It simply recommends putting 50% of your money toward your needs, 30% toward your wants, and that remaining 20%, that goes toward your savings and future goals.
Now, to actually make this work, we have to draw a really rigid line between structural necessities and lifestyle choices. So, needs, they take up that big 50% slice. You gotta ask yourself, can I literally live without this? If the answer is no, like with rent, groceries, or healthcare, well, that's a need. And here's an absolutely crucial point. Minimum required payments on a credit card or a loan, those are absolute needs. They must be met. Wants, which take up the 30%, are things you just enjoy by choice. Think streaming subscriptions, grabbing food at a restaurant, taking vacations. Then, that remaining 20% goes straight to savings. So, emergency funds, retirement, or paying down debt beyond those bare minimum payments.
Moving right along to Phase 2, building your emergency fund. Basically, pouring the concrete foundation. Federal Reserve data consistently points out how a single unexpected expense can just totally collapse your financial progress and send you straight back into credit card debt. That is exactly why the very first target for your concrete foundation is exactly $1,000. Honestly, it's a massive structural intervention. Why? Because think about it, putting a $600 car repair on a 24% APR credit card could end up costing you an extra $180 or even more in pure interest. That $1,000 buffer absorbs the shock for you at zero extra cost. It's a total game changer. Now, what's really interesting here is that finding that money, even on a tight income, usually just takes a quick 20-minute statement audit. Just look at this before and after. By canceling an aspirational, but let's be real, completely unused gym membership, cutting back on some redundant streaming apps, and just making a quick phone call to negotiate the internet bill, a household can easily recover $152 a month. To put that into perspective, finding just $50 a week in passive, unneeded expenses funds that whole $1,000 foundation in just 5 months. But, just knowing you need to save isn't really enough. You need the exact psychological mechanics in place to protect that money from yourself. First off, open your savings account at a completely different bank than your checking account. This adds a 1 to 3 day transfer delay, creating just enough friction to stop you from impulse spending. Second, give it a specific name. Behavioral research actually shows that naming an account something like car repair fund makes it feel assigned to a specific purpose, so you're way less likely to touch it. And finally, automate the transfer so it executes the exact day you get paid. Boom, the decision is already made for you. Let's see how this builds, because securing your finances is a gradual process. You build a skyscraper floor by floor, right? You don't just try to save $10,000 on day one. Step 1 is simply reaching that $1,000 to break the credit card emergency cycle. Step 2, saving 1 month of your fixed expenses to handle a minor income reduction. And then Step 3, that's the ultimate destination, saving up 3 full months of fixed expenses.
All right, Phase 3, good debt versus bad debt. Managing your structural leverage.
In the finance world, debt is often viewed as leverage, basically a tool to help you build faster if you use it properly. Good debt tends to be the kind of debt that allows you to achieve meaningful, long-term growth. So, mortgages offer housing stability and help you build equity. Student loans can help you build a lucrative career. Business loans let you create an enterprise. Bad debt, on the other hand, is just toxic weight. High-interest credit cards, auto title loans, payday loans, or taking out loans just for discretionary luxury spending, that stuff will eventually tear your entire structure right down.
There is, however, a bit of a gray area right in the middle. Think of those 0% introductory APRs, or those buy now, pay later plans. Since they don't accrue interest if you pay them on time, they aren't inherently bad. But man, they require incredibly strict discipline. Taking on too many of these plans can quickly overextend your structural limits and turn into a massive burden before you even realize it.
So, the crucial point is this. If you do have bad debt, you absolutely need an exit strategy before it brings the whole building down. First step, organize literally everything you owe. List out the minimum payments and the interest rates. Then it's time to go on the offensive. You could use the debt avalanche method, which means attacking the highest interest rate first to save the most money over time. Or try the debt snowball, where you get quick psychological wins by clearing the smallest balances first. Another option is consolidating multiple debts into a single, lower-rate loan to just make those monthly payments a bit easier to manage.
And finally, Phase 4, the lifestyle inflation trap, maintaining the structure.
Okay, so picture this. You've budgeted, you've saved up your emergency fund, and you've got your debt managed. But as your income grows, there's this hidden, almost invisible pressure that can start cracking your foundation. It's known as lifestyle creep, or lifestyle inflation. This happens when your personal spending increases at the exact same rate your income goes up. You get a raise and poof, instantly it vanishes into a luxury car upgrade, excessive dining out, or premium digital subscriptions. It's dangerous because it completely stops you from building long-term wealth. It literally keeps you living paycheck to paycheck, even if you're making a high salary. Defeating this trap requires installing some safety valves in your financial plumbing. First, you've got to track your spending closely and set some really strict limits on your entertainment budget. Second, and this is a big one, hide your raises from yourself. Just automatically transfer that extra money into a separate savings account before you even see it hit your checking. And third, try utilizing fixed-value prepaid cards for your discretionary online shopping. It caps your budget so you never accidentally overspend.
To really re-anchor our mindset on all of this, let's look at this incredible piece of advice from the legendary Warren Buffett. He says, save first and spend what is left over. It's such a powerful reminder that true wealth isn't that leased luxury car you're showing off to your neighbors. True wealth is the capital you actually keep and grow.
The data really shows that financial security isn't about massive overnight windfalls. It's about structural consistency and making absolutely sure that every single dollar has a job. So, looking at the financial empire you want to build, I'll leave you with this. What is the very first step you will take today to start pouring your foundation?